Hello, everybody. Reed here. It's a pleasure to speak to you guys today about this very interesting subject. Um, this series I'm doing is Narcissism as a Network, and we're talking about fake knowledge, right? Um, and I'm trying to help you understand how dangerous fake knowledge is, and um, how these narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths use it in order to um, in order to target you. And I'm going to sort of help you understand how complex this interaction is when you deal with narcissists, right? Because they're trying to harm you. They're trying to do a lot of harm to you. I mean, a lot of harm. And in addition, I'm trying to, get you to get a good idea of at least understand how something like an interaction with someone where someone says something that you believe is helpful to you, how that can be dangerous for you. It's interesting. You're going to find that the things that are the most dangerous for you are the ones that are covered with sparkly lights. They catch your attention. They make you feel comfortable. They put you at ease. But these things are just the illusion that leads to basically a torture chamber. Every illusionary experience has lights outside of it blinking, like, come on in, come on in, come on in. But once you're in, I mean, you're going to experience duality. I mean, you're going to experience a lot of suffering. And so when you're dealing with these narcissists, it's very important to understand how these interactions work. So you have your reality, and I would suggest that you never leave your reality, right? When you leave your reality and go into someone else's reality, from their perspective, you appear in their lives or in their world or in their reality, in their family, in company, in their clique or your team as a not as who you think you are, but these people are primitive as a character, right? And that is a character role that you agree to when you enter someone's world. And then you give them the ability to say anything they want. And because you cross that boundary and enter in their reality, there's no defense that you can give. And there's nothing you can say. That's why the gold standard with always dealing with narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths is always no contact, no physical contact. Don't even think about those monsters. They are hideous people. They are awful, perverted perverts. They are awful. You don't want to touch them. You don't want to listen to them, and you certainly don't want to think about them. So now, this process of luring you from your reality to their reality is a deceitful process because now let's see. Let's say you have a loving relationship with a parent. Okay, a parent is going to demand, an elder will demand that you enter their reality. They'll demand that you enter their reality. Come over here, sit down. And they demand that you play a role when you're in front of them. You can't act like the elder where you act like your friends around your friends. You can't do that. They don't allow that. Of course, you play a role, right? And then when you leave, you go back to the character, you go back to who you were playing before you got around the elders, right? See, but it's a difference between when your elders or when someone who loves you have you enter into their reality. The way it's different is that they when you enter they give you all the things that keep you neutral. You still have your perspective in their reality, and that has an impact of sort of like disabling you so you can sort of receive the love and attention for the people who you admire and who you bow down to, right? Okay. But the narcissist, psychopath, and sociopath use this interaction right here in so many different ways because they need to activate you. So when they're the person they're trying, okay, so here's the scenario, okay? So you have a narcissist trying to target you, but then they need to find a flying monkey, right? But how do they actually get the flying monkey to do all these things on their behalf? They get the flying monkey to do all these things by luring the idiot into their reality and then presenting them with a with a solution to a problem that the flying monkey has. So this is what they do. Let me give you an example. Let me find my. So this is what they do. So you have your reality, they have their reality, then they come into your environment and now they're engaging with you. And so let's say there's an issue you guys are discussing or we're dealing with. And so let's say this is the truth. Say this is the truth of the issue that you're dealing with. Okay. Now, what the narcissist does is this. They put a veneer over it, right? They put a veneer over it. They give you just enough of the truth so that you believe the gaslighting, the lie that they made. You see, they take the truth and then they put a veneer over it. They just cover them up. In this process of covering the truth, covering up your intentions, here's the truth covering up. It's also covering up your true intentions. That's another way of looking at this too. That's superimposition can be looked at perspective too. But here's the truth, and they just put a veneer over the truth and then present it to the potential flying monkey as a solution to the flying monkey's problems. So thing is that if they just gave any excuse to the flying monkey, potential flying monkey, they'll accept the perspective, but they won't do anything. So you can accept somebody's opinion, like in normal people, they give you your opinion, you accept their opinion, right? Even if it's extreme or if it's not from yours, you just, 2025 that nobody's getting into that. I haven't heard any arguments about people's perspectives anymore. So normal people, when you give your opinion, you give it with this. Here's the truth, here's your perspective of the truth, but it's still neutral. So when you hand it over to the listener and everything, you're not grooming them and you're not manipulating them, right? You're not grooming them and you're not manipulating them. You're just giving them your facts. Okay, now, so with this, what the narcissist does, they study the flying monkey, the potential flying monkey. And they have a list of all the things that the flying monkey is attached to, all the things that the flying monkey fears. Okay, and so they take the truth, enmesh it with issues connected with the flying monkey, and then present it with the flying monkey as if it's a solution to your problem. Look, here's how it goes. Let me take this call. Hold on one second. Okay, so what they do is, here's the innovative thing apart that these idiots do. Here's the truth here, all right, and then they take all the issues that the person is dealing with, the issues that they're dealing with, and then they present it as the solution to their problem, right? So let's say you're working with someone and everything, like the idiot that I would be working with would go around and always talk for me. You know what I'm saying? These idiots are idiots. So So let's say someone came up to you and say, "Hey, how long have you known so and so?" And they say, "Okay, well, I've known so and so for like a year now. I don't I don't want to say anything, but I'm just concerned. I mean, you got kids in college and everything, and you just got married and everything. I'm not sure. You think things are stable here, right? Something like that, right? It takes you from your point of peace and your reality, and unfortunately, if you actually entertain that content, you leave your reality and you go into that illusion that they just created for you. And when you start to think about how you're going to protect yourself, think about, well, maybe this person is this, think about maybe for this person, maybe this and that, maybe this, all of the all of the questions, all of the feelings going to change. You feel anxious, feel sad, feel angry, feel upset, feel scared, feel nervous, all of these things. Now, when you grow, you get to the point where as soon as you feel those feelings, you just have to back up. Wait, I just stepped into someone's illusion, a delusional system or someone's rabbit hole, and it's best if I get out of here. How do I get out of it? Never think about it. Psst, fuck out of here. I ain't thinking about that. Let her do what she gonna do. Right? That has nothing to do with me. She gonna have to let her play the best game she can play. I'm gonna have to play the best game I can play and move on. Right? That's how you stay in your world. You simply don't entertain, no matter what it is, simply don't entertain it. Think about this. When you were all of the all of the very intense disputes you had in adolescence, think about all of the intense disputes you have adolescence. Looking back on it now, would you think that definitely it probably would have been in your best interest just to remain silent and ignore every one of those things through teenage years? Can you imagine how things would have changed if you just walked past it and not thought about it again or not even dealt with it? All of the problems would have gone away on its own. In fact, if you look back at your teenage years, the conflicts you were having, the problems we're having, is because you attempted to expand your ego into a domain or a territory where people wouldn't allow you. And as a consequence, they pushed back on you. And that caused you harm because they removed all the attachments you had to things, and that traumatized you. Yeah. So now, the solution, just like in this example, do not respond, do not react. Not at all. If that person said all those things, then your perspective should be, hey, it's interesting that she has that type of perspective for me, but she has every right to have whatever belief she has about me as possible. She has every right to do that, right? Support her right to have her opinion, but don't go into her reality, and certainly do not entertain the opinion. If you entertain now, so let's say they sold you this, they said something to you, you feel they're helping you out, but really it's grooming. They're creating a loyalty, a bond, or an attachment with you based upon a real loyalty, real bonding, real attachment to you based on fake knowledge that don't exist. So these idiots, they, in the process of grooming you, they attach to you, and they're attached to you, and in the process of attaching, they attach to you with things that don't exist, but they have to groom you to attach to you because they want the attachment. Then they're going to start pulling at the attachment to demand that you target someone, to demand that you continue to look at things in their perspective, to demand that you spread their toxicity, right? And it also primes them and makes you more vulnerable from attacks to them in the future. because again, the way they communicate is they disrupt communicate. If you're in the organizations, they disrupt communication between individuals, and then individuals have the only option but to communicate with the narcissist, like mainly narcissists, but not as much psychopaths and sociopaths in terms of communications, because the psychopaths and sociopaths, those are like loners, and narcissists need hierarchy because they don't have the ability to they don't have the ability. Narcissists exist in the ego, and any work done out of the ego will be absorbed into the environment. It's just how it's programmed into. That's how it's simply programmed into the environment. That is the whole. That's the whole story behind this engine here. This dude here is Sisyphus, and this is his work, his labor. Right, and he was sentenced to do indefinite labor by Zeus, indefinitely, forever. Right, and so no matter how far he pushes the boulder up, it's going to go down. Right, and there's a quality to this. As soon as he gets to the end and get his fingers all over, he thinks every time he thinks he's going to make it. Like you think you're going to make it. You start off and you think you're going to make it. And then it ends up the ball rolls back down on you. And then what happens? You have to start all over again. Why can you not walk away? Because of the attachment to the task. And that's why the narcissists that's how they trigger, that's how they control the flying monkeys, through these attachments based upon fake knowledge. Right? Fake knowledge. Now, when you grow, when you mature, when you learn, you start to understand that your brain simply receives all information. It doesn't audit the validity or intentionality of the information that it puts inside of his brain. So what happens is, if you're around the sick people, they do this to you all the time. I mean, constantly. They started, I think the feminist literature and all that started to pick up on things like microaggression. I think microaggressions are a description of, like male hostility towards women in certain spaces that they can't show overt aggression, so they show passive aggression towards this, and there's a label for it. But I think it's still the same thing as this. I don't think it's a male, female, feminine issue at all, a feminist issue at all. These narcs are torturing everybody, and these narcs are both men and women. And so I think that that whole feminist movement, I think that they pathologicalized a lot of men and protect men who were basically innocent, have empathy, who were the victims of very narcissistic and sociopathic women. And then so you have the women on that perspective, but then you have the men's rights groups like MGTOW, or the red pill community, and the MGTOW men going their own way. They basically separated from women. No contact. Sounds good. No contact. But in the men's rights community, they are all clustered with the sociopathic and narcissistic men within their groups. So if MGTOW are men who are going to avoid women, well, you just concentrated yourself with the narcissistic men, and they're doing the same thing as the women you're running away from. And then you in MGTOW, you're running away from women who have empathy. And that's the only people who gonna help you out of this situation. So there's even the groups are forming to sort of deal with these sick, perverted idiots, and it's because these narcissists are psychopaths and sociopaths are so effective at targeting, torturing, and destroying people, and there's very little legal recourse. You have to really understand how to deal with these perverts in order to be able to take them to court and call the police. If you cannot increase their cost more than yours, then you're not ready to let them to fight them. That's the one thing I've noticed with narcissists is that they cry like babies and give up when it costs them more than it costs you to target you. So if you want to cut off stalking from a narcissist, just file a lawsuit against them for stalking. You have anything, they do not want you to take them to court and to tell anybody what they did. Narcissists hate police because police will identify them really quick. If you ever have any difficulty with a narc, always call the police. They hate them when they come around. You're going to see them take off the mask and go resort back to this. You're going to see all that. Law enforcement understands how these idiots work. They just can't get involved in your private life. Yeah. So here, so this is, so the point here with this is that this is the part of the human experience. You can't escape from this, right? You can't escape from this. Remember, look around you. Look, whatever goes up, it always comes down, right? You've never seen something go up indefinitely, at least inside, without energy, like without energy and stuff like that, right? If you have a left, you must have a right. If you have a forward, you must have a backwards. If you have good, you must have bad. If you have warm, you must have hot. If you have cold, you must have what? Hot. If you must round, you must have straight. If you have good, then you must have bad, right? Everything that exists in this universe is an object. And if you go down to the smallest object, an electron, then they have duality to them. There's a phase when they're energy, and then when you pay your attention to it, it becomes a solid particle. So every electron, every particle has duality associated with it. And so that means that every particle in this universe has duality to it. There's an energy base underneath it. And the energy base is the only thing that's running and operating this whole thing. The energy base is the truth, and all of this as who we are is just the illusion. It's just the delusion. That's it. We're just the smear on top of the energy source. And so the issue of superimposition is that the narcissist is trying to get you out of your reality into their reality, or this fake reality, by getting you to accept fake knowledge as if it's real. And what that is they exploit that process of superimposition. Is the process of exploiting your ignorance. And so when they come up to you with that cheesy smile, they already know your vulnerabilities, and they're coming at you because they understand you are ignorant. And when I say ignorant, you don't understand exactly what they're doing. And they do this to you every day in your face. And you have no idea the detrimental destruction it's making, the depression it causes, the cognitive dissonance it causes, the anxiety it causes, the sleeplessness it causes, the worryiness it causing. And so what happens is that if you're in your reality, you're fine. When you cross into that fake reality, you become Sisyphus, and your entire world experiences this duality, meaning there's nothing that you can ever do that's actually going to work out. Everything, at the end of everything you love, you're going to have to be separated from it. You don't understand what I'm talking about. Remember when you fell in love and this person you felt was absolutely a beautiful person. This person supported you. This person did all those things. And what happened now? You're not with that person anymore. The stronger you love, the more it's going to hurt when it have to leave. And that's the sad thing about this reality here, that duality. If you leave your reality, the main issue you deal with is duality, meaning none of the money, time, or effort you spend or devote within a rabbit hole an illusion or a goddamn delusional system will ever make any long-term profits. She didn't love you. She married you for the money. So at the end of the marriage, the money gonna be gone, bro. That's what happened, right? He didn't love you. He loved your body. And after you don't look the same, he don't love you anymore, right? That's duality. She loved you because what you were doing for her, she couldn't get from anybody else. When she got tired of it, that was it. It's gone. Yep. Yep. So taking the truth and lying and overlaying it with your details and then presenting to someone as if this is a gift to them that's going to get them benefit is the process of superimposition. And it's a very dangerous thing. From my perspective, whenever I encounter people who engage with me like that, I let them know up front. I'm not sure what you meant by that. Can you help me understand that? And then, hey, well, it's interesting. Your perspective is interesting, but why don't you keep your perspective to yourself, right? Or your perspective is interesting, but that's not what I'm interested in. You got me? All right. So I hope you are enjoying my series on narcissism as a network, fake knowledge, part 10. Superimposition, how the narc exposes your ignorance. And if you don't understand that the narcs are doing this to you when they communicate with you all the time, and that's the source of the clouding of your consciousness, the indecisiveness, the difficulty making decisions, and questioning yourself, questioning all your identity, lowering your self-esteem, that's the process right there. Okay. And feel free to like, subscribe, and share. And pretty soon, I'll be coming out with our book. Tupac Was an Actor. Yep. We finished with a lot of the book. I'm gonna add some more things to it. So hopefully, I'll be able to sort of launch it at the new year. And so I'm going to examine Tupac's life in the face of him being surrounded by a lot of narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths. And I think it's going to be a very interesting read, So stay tuned for my book, Tupac Was an Actor. So, and please feel free to like, subscribe, and share. Okay. Read out, guys. Take care. Ciao.